Okay, this is the Future Technologies Evangelist, which is a bit of a crazy title. I was given that title by Greg, who's the CEO and founder of Octopus, when I joined close to 7 years ago now. I actually took part in a hackathon in May 2018, when I was running a startup in the smart home space. My background is all IoT. I spent time in mobile telecoms as well. And so over the last 6 or 7 years, I've led an area of innovation within Octopus. Octopus is too big for me to cover all innovation, but it's a mixture of domestic services, tariffs, and business side. So I'm going to talk about electric match, but first a bit of participation. So, because there's a bit of a story as to why electric match exists, and I think we've all touched on it in the presentation today. Can anybody tell what that picture of on my left, your right, your left, yeah, left, my right, is showing there? So the clue is perhaps, well, there's three colours there. There's a red one in the centre, there's the grey ones which are coastal as a clue, and the purplish, pinkish ones have got lines. What is it? What am I showing in this diagram? Somebody? Interconnects. So interconnects is the purple ones there. What's the red one in the middle, which doesn't exist anymore?
Storage?
No. Coal. Okay, and grey? Nuclear. Coastal. Okay. So what's this showing? So this is all electricity generation. So there's the clue. So what's that one showing?
Onshore wind.
No.
Storage?
No.
Solar?
No.
Consumption?
Gas. So that's gas. Gas being burnt to generate electricity. So then it gets a bit easier. The orange graph is solar, and that's wind. So this is all the current solar generation and current wind. So what's that? I've just combined the two because I'll have too many slides otherwise. But what sort of renewables other than wind and solar?
Variable.
Generating.
No. So that is in development and planned additional renewable generation on top of what I had in this graph. So we've got that now, and then we're going to get that. And the last picture, what's that one? Storage. So that's storage. That's actually a mixture of current planned, current in development and planned storage as well. And then just for fun, one last picture. You might not be able to tell this one because it's a little bit obtuse, but this is, somebody said it. Hydrogen. It happens to be kind of green, but the source of data that I got from it, so it's not green hydrogen as such, but it is hydrogen. So that is current generation of hydrogen. There is a green dot somewhere there. It's down there. There it is. And then this is all the planned and in development hydrogen, which is rather a lot smaller than the renewable generation. Yeah, this is a cool graph. So this is from. I forget the name of the website, but I'll share it afterwards. The website that has all of this data. It's all public information. So this is going back from 2009. It's the earliest data that exists on this. Red is coal generation coming out. Green is wind coming in. Solar. We see solar is just kind of there in orange, and there's not much of a difference. And then gas right the way across the top. Grey is nuclear. Bottom half of this graph is showing carbon intensity, which has been covered on some of the presentations today. So grams of CO2 emitted per kilowatt hour generated. And if we look at a number up here, coal, when it was around, was emitting 937 grams of CO2 for each kilowatt hour of generation. So the example of watching the film on the train, I don't do that. I'm usually looking at data or something on the train, but imagine the tons, if you're on a 2-hour journey, that's 2 kilos of carbon that's been emitted to watch that film for that 2-hour journey. But we've kind of tailed off a bit. We haven't really got low enough here, so all that renewable generation still needs to come to get us to almost zero generation. So what we can see here is a change from this old generation style to the new system of energy. It's a real mishmash. You see in those pictures, it's only when you look at those pictures you just realise the impact on the grid, how we are going to consume and generate energy. So that's why we have tariffs like electric match for businesses. And on the domestic side, you might have heard of our agile tariff, our go tariff, our cozy tariff, our flat flux tariff, zero bills tariff, where we're incentivising domestic customers to take advantage in this change in energy generation and energy distribution and transportation. So the electric match tariff for a business allows you to track specific sources of energy generation against your consumption. So we allocate and say, right, we are going to name specific sources of generation, so particular wind farms, particular solar outputs, and we're going to match that, time-based matching really, and then report on that data. So here's some of the graphs that we can show here. So this is real data from one of our electric match customers. Those are stores up and down the country. We can see a wind turbine there. We can see the solar panel, solar field there, and there that they're procuring from. These are named on the dashboard, so this is what this customer can see. I took this screenshot first thing this morning. Luma was chasing me for my slides because I was busy taking live, up-to-date screenshots of the data today. In fact, we've had such strong wind. This particular customer there is over 637% spare capacity from the 3 sources of renewable energy that we've booked to this particular customer. And then we can see from in their previous month, and this is probably more what we expect, we're at about 55 and 47% of usage of that allocation of their renewable sources. And we can see, well, there's one more graph after this I'll show. But we also give a carbon reporting, so naturally everything is 100% renewable energy from Octopus Energy because of the regos and the certificates and so on. But we provide the breakdown of what the location element would look like. So the carbon intensity data is coming from carbonintensity.org, which has geographic breakdown as well as the whole of the UK. So they can see the difference in carbon through the tariff and the service that we're giving them. And then if we just look at this graph here, so this is live data of the generation output, and we actually take the consumption data averaged over a rolling 2-week period to give an indication of this is the consumption you will probably achieve over the next 48 hours. So the pink line is their consumption, and this is per individual asset. It's not as the whole portfolio, so they can look at this graph per each individual store in this case, or business or premises. They can see the allocated generation that they've got, and as long as the pink is below the green, then they've got a better tariff and they're matched and all the rest of it. And because today, there we go, Luma, it was about 10 o'clock, I took the screenshot. Then they were well within that capacity, which we saw 637% on the graph there. And when we look at other days when there is reduced generation, we will see the pink line go above. And this is incentivizing them, right, how do we, just as the Google presenter was talking about, how do you move around your consumption to fit within the curve of the generation? And then there's more statistics at the bottom per generation source and so on. And that's me. Thank you.